We're playing Snake in RuneScape, moving around the map, one chunk at a time. Every hour, the snake is going to move, and if we complete all the challenges available to us, the snake is going to grow. Welcome to SnakeScape. Last time on SnakeScape, we spent a while killing the wrong goblin. We then went to the East Varrock gate, where we continued our fletching grind, and then we lucked into Varrock Centre, where we got drunk and stole money. You join us now in the Varrock Palace. Welcome back. We're in the Varrock Palace, which means there's quite a lot to do. There are 4 quests we need to work on in this chunk: Priest in Peril, Daddy's Home, the Shield of Rav, and Children of the Sun. For those first 3, we can complete the first step of all of them, and for the last one, we can actually complete it, which would unlock the ability to go to Varlamore from the East Varrock gate. There are also 2 achievement diary tasks in this chunk, but we're way too low level to do either of them, so we're going to ignore them for now. There are lots of skilled tasks in this chunk, but the one I think I'm going to work towards is the 85 cooking requirement to make part of a wild pie. I'm going to do this by killing rats in the Varrock sewer beneath this chunk, and then cooking them in the stove that's in this palace. Let's get to it. No, I was literally just about to start the timer. No, I misclicked, I swear, please leave me alone. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, let's start all the quests first. Let's go do Daddy's Home. I know there's a saw spawn up here as well, which I'm going to pick up and hold on to. Yeah, the next step of this quest is far away. Cool, then that's as much of that as we can do. Let's go into the palace and complete the other 3 that we can do in this chunk. Looking for a quest. Start the Peace and Peril quest. Cool, and that is as much of that one as we can do. Very noble goal. I'm in search for a quest. Yes, start the Shield of Rav. Then we can go search the bookshelf. Go pick up the book about a Rav, read it, yada yada yada. You can pause it if you want to read it yourself. Talk to Reldo again about the Shield of Rav, Phoenix Gang, Arm Gang. Cool, that requires us back in Varrock Square, so that's as much as we can do. And let's run upstairs. I'm going to drop this, open the door, talk to the sergeant. Here we go. Now we can actually complete this interrogation, as opposed to last time not being allowed to. And there we go, that is the very first quest point on the account, which is very cool. That's a first quest. Now if we roll the chunk down here, we can now access the Varlamore teleport, which is super cool, because then it will become rollable if we're inside that chunk. With this experience, I'm going to train defense all the way up. Just in case we have to go to the wilderness, I would rather have a bit more defense to make myself a little bit more survivable than having anything else. So I think it's the best thing to do. Guam leaf. Yeah, no, I don't have anything to give you, unfortunately. Oh well, that'll be a very useful way of getting pots later in the game. But at the moment, I definitely can't do that. So last episode, I got this lamp from a frog token, and I've been thinking about what I wanted to use it on. And I think I'm going to go with Slayer, just because I'm already level 9 Slayer from the museum quiz, and lots of quests are locked behind Slayer, and tasks are locked behind Slayer, so I think getting my Slayer up is going to be the most useful thing to do. Slayer is going to be really hard to do in this mode, because there's a very rare chance that we're ever going to have a Slayer Master and a bunch of monsters in the same playable area, until the snake is very long. So I feel like it's going to be really difficult to train, so putting lamps on it is probably our best bet. Okay, now we've got a full inventory, I'll go and cook these up, and then run back down with some cooked rat meat. There's one task which I didn't mention at the beginning, which is the 1,000 gold required to buy a player-owned house from the real estate agent. I'm not going to do this, because I don't think there's a way of me making 1,000 coins in this chunk before the time is up, and I would much rather work towards some other skill that we have. Now there are some benefits to having a player-owned house, but I don't think it's going to be useful right now, especially as the spawn is in Rivington. I think I might wait until we get to Rivington before I buy my player-owned house. I'm not going to hold on to any of the cooked rat meat until the very last set that we get, just because I then will bring it with me to the next chunk we roll, but at the moment it's not very useful, especially these rats are not doing much damage whatsoever. Now that I've got a couple of prayer levels from burying bones, I think I might start using these very low level prayers while I'm attacking stuff, as it probably will make things go just a little bit quicker. I just missed it, but we now have 200 total level. Very nice. Now we're getting towards the end of the chunk. I'm going to hold on to a bunch of this cooked meat, just in case we're ending up going somewhere dangerous, like the wilderness just next door. I'm going to swap to attack just for the last 5 minutes, just to see if I can get a level or 2, as I don't think I'm going to be able to get another defense level before leaving this chunk. 3, 2, 1, and that's it. Time up. Okay, let's jump in the roller and see where we're going next. Okay, so here we are, back in the chunk picker. We were able to tick off only a few things from this chunk. We were able to go Daddy's Home, Priest in Peril, Shield of a Rav, and that was basically it. If I unlock this and calculate the tasks, I'll also be able to tick off the Children of the Sun, which I was able to complete. The reason I needed to add the second one is because inside the chunk picker, it thinks that the third step is the dude out here. But of course, last episode I spoke to him, sent him upstairs by accident, so we were able to complete it. Because the snake is facing north, there are 3 chunks that we can roll: the Grand Exchange, the entrance to the wilderness, and the Lumberyard. Out of these 3, ideally I would like to go to the Grand Exchange, just because then it will turn us away from the wilderness and it will go towards Edgeville and the Barbarian Village, which I really want. The other 2 are okay. The wilderness is the most scary, because if we roll the wilderness now, the snake's going to be facing north, so we can get the Chaos Temple and the 2 other wilderness chunks. But it does mean that this will be a completed chunk, because there's nothing to do in here. If we go to the Lumberyard, that's going to be okay as well. There's lots of wood around here, which we'll be able to do a bit more fletching with. But I don't get to decide where we go, the roller does. So without further ado. Oh, and it's the Lumberyard. Okay. Let's delete these. Calculate tasks. We have access to section 1. And this is going to be quite a good chunk. Let's jump in the game and have a look around. This is the Lumberyard. In this chunk, there's a diary task to do, which is to turn a normal log into a normal plank at the sawmill. Once we've completed that, we will have to go and kill the men and women that are inside the pub, because we need to get their 1 in 64 bronze medhelm drop. There's also a couple of drops from the Dark Knight that we need to pick up, but we won't be able to do that, because the Dark Knight's a bit too high level for us. So we'll stick to killing men and women. When we're on low HP, we'll get on with our fletching grind. Let's jump in and get to it. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, let's get the diary task done first. Let's chop this tree down and take it to the sawmill. Ah, okay, I forgot. We need 100 coins to be able to do that. So let's go kill some men and women first to get their coins before we do anything else. Okay, I'm being an idiot. Pickpocketing is definitely going to be faster money than this, so I'm going to do that instead. Okay, that's 100 coins. Now we can run over to the sawmill and actually complete the task. What on earth did I just do? Huh? Why did it say I had a task complete? Huh? What? Oh, chop down a dying tree in the lumberyard. Okay. Why didn't that come up on the... Ah, it didn't come up because of the... Because it doesn't think I have an axe. Ah, right, okay. Well, that's good that I did that by accident then. There we go, cool. And we have a plank, which is the other achievement diary. Now I'm going to get back on to killing some men, and then I'm going to get on some fletching, I think. These earth and fire runes are both at the same drop rate as the bronze medhelm. God damn it, the last 2 ones I killed gave me those. What on earth is going on? That's another 1 in 64 drop. Why can't you just give me Jagex, please? Just give me the one that I need. Then we can move on. I can stop massacring men and women. Okay, the game is actually just fucking with me now. That's a 1 in 178. What the hell? Oh my god, that's ridiculous. And the most annoying thing is I'm gonna have to drop it on the ground. I won't have space for all of this. Oh my days. And combat level 20. Nice. What is going on here? What is going on? There's a 1 in 237. This is ridiculous. This is actually just getting ridiculous. Just give me the bronze medhelm. Yes! Okay, nice. Bronze head medhelm acquired. So we don't have to kill any more men now. That means that the only other drops we can get in this chunk are from the Dark Knight, or the Black Knight, sorry. And I am nowhere near high enough level. It's level 33. So it's time to just get on with some fletching, I guess. Looking at my loot tracker, I got spooned as all hell with those kills that I just did. The amount of low percentage drops that I got is actually kind of mental. And there is 25 fletching. Only 2 more levels and then we would have completed the oak tree fletching grind. And there's level 40 woodcutting, the first 40 of the account. Very, very cool. 3, 2, 1, and 41 woodcutting just as the chunk is up. So that's all we have to do for this chunk. I was able to get to 26 fletching, only a couple of XP away from getting 27 fletching. Let's jump in the chunk picker and see where we're going next. And here we are, back in the chunk picker. I tick off quite a few of the tasks. For instance, we were able to wield a steel weapon, we've been able to do that for a while. We got the bronze med helm drop, and we completed the easy task 4 of the Varrock diary. If I give myself a Lumberyard and calculate the tasks, I'll also be able to tick off this diary task, which was to chop a dying tree in the Lumberyard. The 3 chunks we can go into from here are the wilderness that I really don't want, Silvaria, which would be quite cool because it puts us 1 away from the Paterdomus temple, where we can continue on with Priest in Peril, or we could turn right back into the East Varrock gate, which we've been in before. Of these 3, 1 would be cool, 2 would be best because it takes us away from the wilderness, and 3 would be pretty rough. But I don't get to pick. Let's roll. Oh no! Okay. The Lumberyard Ditch. So, the chunk picker is showing that there are no tasks in this chunk. And that is a lie. There's an oak tree in this chunk, which means that I'm a couple hundred XP away from being able to unlock this chunk and create the first chunk that is going to be added to the end of the snake. So I'm going to have to go do that in the Lumberyard Ditch, which I don't feel very good about. Luckily, it's very low level wilderness, and I am a low combat level, so I shouldn't be a target of PKs. But this is going to be a bit squeaky bum time for the next maybe 10-20 minutes. Let's jump in the game and have a look, eh? Right, so past me, who just complained about the wilderness, is a bit of a pussy. The oak tree is right here. There's no need for like a fancy little animation which like says what the task is here. I literally need to go from here a few tiles into the wilderness to chop this oak tree to get, I think, about 8 more logs. Because I'm only 377 experience away from the next level, I have 150 experience sitting in inventory right now from the oak longbows that I can make. So I only need 177 more, which is 8 logs. So I guess I'm just gonna do it. I've hopped to a very empty world, so hopefully no one turns around. It's only gonna be like level 1 wilderness, so you know, only people who are combat level 20 or 19 can attack me, and I can always just run back over the ditch. I feel like this is actually very safe to do. Let's start the timer. I definitely won't need all of it. 3, 2, 1, go. This is really anticlimactic for this chunk. I feel like for the next chunk, it's going to be a lot less anticlimactic, but you know, we'll have to see. I'm going to definitely keep this food on me, just in case the next chunk that I roll is the one that's up there. And there's all the wilderness soundtracks. Very, very cool. So I've turned this one into an oak longbow. This should give me 27 fletching, which will unlock oak shields. And that will complete this chunk. Oh, I require... oh my god. And there we go. That is this chunk completed. We only needed 3 minutes. I can't believe how much of a pussy I was when I was recording the chunk picker section. Anyway, let's jump back in the roller and see where we're going next. And here we are, back in the chunk picker. That was a hell of a lot quicker than I thought it was going to be. This chunk is now officially completed, which means that the next roll we do, we don't have to delete this chunk. The snake is now 2 chunks long. And anytime we roll from here on out, instead of deleting the chunk that we were just in, we get to delete the chunk that was 2 away from us instead. But we now need to figure out where the head of the snake is going. There are 2 chunks which are along the ditch. These are the ones that I really, really want. And there's 1 chunk which takes us into a chunk with ents in it. I can't kill ents, just full stop. But there are lots of trees in this chunk, so I'm going to have to kill trees and then light them up or fletch them or do something for an hour, which is going to be stressful. The main problem with this is that it leads further into the wilderness. We can't roll left from this chunk, but we can roll forwards and right. So ideally I want one of these 2 along the ditch. But I don't get a pick. Let's roll. After, of course, I have ticked off the fact that we have obtained an unarmed. Let's roll. Okay, cool. That's good. That's really, really good. Take me there. Okay, so these are not rollable. That's not rollable. This chunk also has completely nothing in it, apart from some dead trees and some wilderness ditch. So there are no tasks in here. This is also a completed chunk. There are only 2 chunks we can roll from here. We can't go forwards because of the mountain here, which stops us from getting into Mauritania. So we can either go into the wilderness, which I really don't want, or out of the wilderness, which I would love. Now, in this chunk here, I believe there are also no tasks, because there's only the zombie pirate, which you can give in the keys for. Unless we unlock the Chaos Temple, we won't be able to get any keys. And also they're way too high level for my account, so it's not going to matter. We're going to have to roll immediately again. If you roll south, this is going to be really good. This takes us out of the wilderness, and now with actually a snake, as opposed to just 1 chunk moving around. But I don't get to pick. Let's roll. Yes! Okay. Perfect. We have come out of the wilderness. That is really, really good. With these 2 chunks being completed, our snake is now 3 chunks long. So if we move back into the world, we will be able to keep access to chunks behind us, which is really, really cool. So let's jump in the game and explore this chunk. This chunk is Silvaria. There's not much to do in this chunk. The only task that we need to complete inside of here is to start the Rag and Bone Man 1 questline. But when I do, I'm not going to count this chunk as completed, because there are 2 quest starts in this chunk. And I'm not going to count a chunk as completed if the quests that start in that chunk are not completely finished. So what does that mean for the hour that's about to come up? Well, once I've completed the first step of Rag and Bone Man 1, I get to choose what I want to do. Either I can end the chunk there and roll again, or I can complete more tasks inside that chunk. So as this chunk has trees in it, for instance, I could continue to work on my fletching. But I think, as there's only normal trees in here and nothing better, I'm just going to complete Rag and Bone Man step 1 and then roll again. Let's jump in and get to it. Even though it won't take me very long, I'll just start the timer. 3, 2, 1, go. Right, let's quickly just go talk to this man. Start Rag and Bone Man 1. Yes, please. Right, so now we need to go collect all those bones. Of course, I can't do that at the moment. I will have to put this on the back burner, and we'll come back to it when I have a few more chunks and a bit more time. Now, just before I do roll again, I want to have a quick look, because I thought that there was a fence over here, but I think I'm actually wrong. Yeah, there's no fence that runs between this gate and this mountain, which means that this is rollable. To go forwards from here is rollable, because I thought we'd only be able to roll towards the temple up here, or to walk back towards Varrock in this direction. But I guess we can't. The only other NPC that's in this chunk are these bats, which might be okay XP if I wanted to train a little bit, but I think I'm just going to move on and get to rolling. And I stopped recording and I got 15 attack. Okay, cool. Back actually into the chunk picker this time. And we're back in the chunk picker. The snake is currently facing south, which means we can roll into the Paterdomus temple to continue Priest in Peril, down to the dig site through that gap which I explained a minute ago, or into the Lumberyard. Now, of these three, I would like to try Priest in Peril, I think would be good fun. But the problem with that is the snake gets stuck, and we would encounter the first time that's happened. So I'll explain what the rules will be if that happens. Down will be okay, there won't be too much to do as we go to the exam centre, and then we'll start doing more fletching for a while, until we escape either through the desert or back towards south of Varrock. And the Lumberyard would be fine. It would mean that we'd be able to roll into the wilderness again, which would be a bit annoying, but nothing we can't handle. We're able to complete the first step of Rag and Bone Map, and inside this chunk there is absolutely nothing else to do. So without further ado, let's roll. And the Paterdomus Temple. This is really, really cool. That means that we'll be able to continue Priest in Peril. Now, we've moved forward one. We have 2 chunks unlocked, which means that we have to get rid of our end of our snake. The snake is 3 chunks long, and the only rollable chunk from here would be these 3 in front of us, with the head of the snake facing east. But of course, none of these 3 are rollable. So let's jump in the game, have a look at Paterdomus Temple, and see what we can do. Believe it or not, this is the face of a man who can never do anything correctly. Like, literally nothing. This is the Paterdomus Temple. Now, in here, normally, you should be able to complete the whole of the Priest in Peril quest. Because you go down here, you go in the thingy, you go kill the dog, and then you drop the bucket down the well, and then you pick it up and bless it, whatever. I can't remember the rest of the quest. Which would be great. I should be able to complete it. Apart from the fact that I left my bucket in the bank. Back in Varrock. I'm very upset at myself right now. Because I just didn't do that. I'm going to save working on this chunk and doing the next few rolls to the next episode. Now, I hope you've enjoyed this video. It's been a lot more chunk rolling, a lot more in the chunk picker than the last few videos. So hopefully that wasn't a bit too jarring. But if you have liked this video, a like would be really appreciated and a subscription would be amazing. I will see you next time. Goodbye.